book is based off the bombing of Hiroshima during World War II. It goes into deep detail how the life of 3 of the 6 survivors were in Japan during the bombings of one of the most noble bombings in Japan. The book Hiroshima by John Hershey is about death and reveals that life can change after death occurs. One survivor of this dangerous bombing was Miss Haruhi Nakara. She was a tailor with 3 children. Her husband died in the war. During the bomb, her house is destroyed and the children are under the rubble. They come out unscathed and she clothes them. They head to the evacuation site, Anasawa Park, next to Kaya River. She and her children were given water which was from the river. The river was contaminated and she and several others became sick. She then later found out her mother, brother, and sister died. Years later, she lived in poverty. She worked in the mothball factory while her children got married and moved away. The second survivor was Father William Kushner. He was a German Jewish priest at a mission house. When the bombing dropped, bits of his house hit William. He gathers his belongings and orders the others to go out to fire. Years after the bomb, he moves to a tiny church and renames himself. He continues to grow weaker and eventually falls and fractures his vertebrae on his back. He dies in 1970 next to Sakatsu Yakushi. Third survivor was Miss Tohio Sakai. She was a clerk in the Department of East Asia Timor. She turned and talked to the girl that worked next door, and when she turns back around, the bomb hits the ground. The bomb caused her to fly back 50 kids, breaking her legs and knocking unconscious. She left alone for days. Before her friends came and got her, she told that her mom, dad, and brother were all dead. She was then put on a ship and go see the doctor for her fracture. Years later, she never recovered from her broken legs. Hiroshima is a masterpiece that tells and talks to us about what happened after the bombing of Hiroshima and does it by telling us about the lives of survivors, what happened, and what are they doing currently as the bomb dropped. It really gives you a feeling of how people were living at the time of Hiroshima, and seeing from more than one person really allows you to really understand what happened from all perspectives. On what was a normal day in Japan in 1947, 146,000 died in Hiroshima, which is 58% of the total population of Hiroshima. Many people lost their families, homes, food, personal belongings during this time. People struggled living, and many people also died from the after effects of the bombing happening. Just imagine you're coming home from a trip and you're finding your neighborhood is destroyed. That's what most people in these books going to. Instead, the neighborhood is a city, which is much more affected and been destroyed. To find more about what happened to these survivors and how other survivors lives went on, please buy the book. For only US $6.95 and Canada $9.95, you can relive the experience of the Japanese.